So this is a review for the game between m0nke3 and Sun and Moon. So this is a handicap game where I will also talk about some handicap ideas, but also help you understand how to play the best moves in a relatively equal game as well. So let's start. So white plays quite well, understanding that you should try and approach our opponent and not be staying in our own local area. The Joseki variations are fine. Here I would not choose this variation because this is a old variation and we tend to try and prefer learning simple basic variations which are newer. Moves like this, very simple. Also it gives us Sente to be able to play away. We can even have this variation so you don't have to worry so much. Let's say you play away and your opponent chooses to do this. All you have to do is connect, and if your opponent doesn't play this and plays whatever else, something like this, if the ladder works for you, you could even capture this stone in a ladder in this kind of manner, so this can be very good for you because you enclose your opponent. So yeah, so this whole variation, it's still fine to play, but it's just that you lose Sente, and having Sente is always best. Here, playing this move unnecessary. Here we can allow black to play this because again it's not really that painful compared to if it was 3 stones or 2 stones, because the Go proverb is Hane at the head of 3 and 2 stones, right? So here we don't have to worry too much because again this wall doesn't do much for black. It's facing its very strong group, so it's not really a big problem, right? So this exchange all is okay for white, actually very good for white. This approach, again, I would think about just approaching over here, the wave-like formation. We want to be on both lines, so rather not stay on the third line all the time. If we have stones on the third line, we want to go to the fourth, right? All this is good. This move is unnecessary. Just play this. The corner is not really anything important. We want to just care about our groups. That's all that matters. If our groups are safe, that's all that matters, because again it's still just a middle game and these are end game points because they don't threaten any groups. So this is a bad move by black. Again, you want to try and use your wall efficiently. If you do want to make a base with your wall, this would be better, right? You can see we use the rule of n+1, where n is the number of stones we are expending from our wall. So this is 3, so that's 1 2 3 and then 4, and that's where we play our stone. So this is too close. White starts Joseki, black plays the wrong variation. If you want to remember, just remember we want to stay close to our stones, so the easiest move to make here is Atari. Once our opponent connects, we see that we have 2 weaknesses, but we also notice which is the bigger weakness, the Q15. So all we do is connect. White sees that now that black is strong, what is the issue? Black can play a move where white will be cut into 2 pieces. White connects. You can play one more move to have some influence into the center. You can even push this way if you want, and give white all these points and also make your moyo here, which is an idea. So this is not good for black because this is a terrible group of stones. These are disconnected. This stone is doing nothing and white is very, very strong. So always just remember, we want to focus on keeping our groups stable and in proper shape. Don't try to be overly aggressive unnecessarily. So white plays this move, unnecessary. We can think about playing elsewhere. Maybe even a move like this is fine. This may be a bit too close, so this one is fine. You can try and make a moyo here, because even if black tries to surround you or anything, you still have these stones to eat and you will be alive. So it's just a better way to be strong. Plus, another factor is that if you do play this move, black simply plays this and now fixes the mistake, right? And all you got was 1 point. Now black's wall is very nice, right? Yes, you may be alive, but again, black is now actually making a proper moyo. So here black decides to save a stone. Again, you have to remember, if a stone is not doing anything, you don't need to save it. Not every stone matters on the board, right? This stone is not making any points, and it's also not splitting the group. This group is alive locally, right? What we need is a wall. So we sacrifice this one stone for position. That's what we need to focus on. So by not doing that, white cuts black into two, which is terrible, right? Now white gets to run, and by black trying to run, white does very well with the job of understanding that now you can attack this group. And you can see now that here white doesn't need to play this move, because again, the group is quite safe. There's not a lot black can do. A move like this would be fine. If black tries to push against this, it can even try and come here. White can maybe just take some points in this direction, but yeah, black is in a lot of trouble with a move like this, because again, you know, white has a lot of moves to be able to just destroy this whole area. This was unnecessary. White's getting overtly aggressive. We have to understand, if you want to kill a group, the first idea is surrounding, right? This group is attackable, so our only goal is to be a shepherd. We think of this as our sheep, and we are the shepherd. So we will guide this group to running, and as it runs, we will add stones like this, like this, like this, like this. You can see now we start to make a moyo for free as this group runs away, and then this group also has stones added to it that allow us to later attack this group. So just by attacking the weak group from a distance, we get profit. So we don't have to think about directly attacking it. We want to try and attack it from slightly further. Black tries to fight back, and does quite well here. But again, you know, the groups are in danger. So here, honestly, as white, should just capture these stones and not worry too much about this, unless you're really worried about black trying to connect. You can do this. You know, there's maybe a co-fight here, but again, you don't need to worry about this group because these stones are captured. So you just count the liberties. How many liberties does this group have? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many liberties does your group have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5, right? It's a shared liberty. So if you're ahead, you won't lose, and if you won't lose the liberties, then you don't have to worry about capturing. So always reading these kinds of things is quite important. So yeah, this move by black is very good, running out the stones. Right now dangers a lot of stuff. Black does a good job of fighting back, but you can see now that because of all of this, there's a lot of problems. So here Black could just sacrifice this group and maybe just capture these, but again, living here would be a problem because we don't want to live in our opponent's area, right? So this is not a good group for Black to have. So Black would have to try something, but it's a very, very hard position to deal with. Here Black tries to play a move like this, but it's not really doing much. So you have to see how your groups work. Don't unnecessarily play a move just because you think it could work. If it doesn't work, then you are losing out because you can't move something back. So the best thing to always do is either read. If we can't read, then we just keep the situation simple. If we want to run the Black group out, then we run it this way, right? But again, there's a lot of problems because it's very tough. So if you can't even run out the Black group, the easiest thing to do is ignore and get points elsewhere. Maybe even be like this. We sacrifice this, we capture these stones, and then we try and make points on top and just deal with our loss. Right, so Black tries to fight, which is never good, especially in a handicap game, because the stronger player will always be better at fighting. So yeah, White captures, Black tries to run out the group, White plays a weird move. This doesn't do much, so unnecessary, right? Let's care about our group over here. Very simple. Best move to play here would just be do this, right? Because again, this is not an area that we care about. We care about this group, right? So Black tries to save his points. At this point, again, this move is not doing much, because again, if we want points in the center, we need this area, and to get this wall, to be able to get a box like this, we still need the stones over here to help us out, right? Like this. If this is an Atari, then this situation here, now we can get the points, right? Because in this situation, now this becomes something, but here these stones are just, this stone is just floating. It's not really doing much. This doesn't do much either. This is a very strong group, so blocking a strong group from connecting makes no sense, because this group is fine, right? And this group is also alive, so you're blocking two groups that can live locally. The best move here, just look at your opponent's weakness like this, and then you can even do this to protect your protect your cutting point, and like this you kind of enclose your opponent and push them down onto the second line, which is not good for White, because in this scenario, if you decide to play something like this, you have a lot of opportunities where you can now force White to take very minimal small points and have such a concentration of stones, which is called being over concentrated. And do you see that you just made your moyo bigger? So yeah, so White tries a very deep invasion. Again, Black should just play the very simple Atari here is not going to be a problem. Like this again. For then, White will need to connect this way, and then you could even ask White if its whole group is alive yet, because if it's this situation, there's a chance that White might not live. So if white does this into this into this, you can play this, and then this is a life and death. So even if white does live here, this is a very good exchange to make because you just separated two groups. And having two groups instead of one whole big group is always worse because you lose points. This is a very good cut because this jump is not good. Here you want to cut this way, so that if white does play this, then when you play this, this is very big sente. And now you see, now you blocked off this stone very well. So this is a jump that's unnecessary. Again, this white stone was way too deep. We did not have the ability to invade, and we tried to invade. We always want to remember the easiest way to connect back. The easiest way for a stone to live is to connect back. So if we have no way of connecting back, we don't want to play a move like that. So this is all good. Black should probably play this into this into this and connect over here, sacrifice two stones to force this capture. Yeah, again, we are trying to save stones that do nothing. We always want to understand what in this game, the stones are not our actual important pieces. Stones can be anything, right? Because they can be left alone, they could be the most important, or they could not be important at all. So we have to always remember the groups are the more important. It's the positioning. So we have to always remember what each stone, each group is doing. These stones do nothing, right? This group is already alive. So sacrificing these stones to get a position where we can securely capture these two was always going to be better. So yeah, white just gets to come in, and at this point black has just lost terribly. Black has very minimal points. White just has a lot of ways to destroy this area. Black's only points is this, and like here and here, and a bit of this. So yeah, mostly black needs to work on understanding which groups of stones are important and how to keep its group connected. Right here, as you can see, white has so many ways of just coming in so deep, and you thought you could cut white off, but you can see even if you do it in the right way would be to directly cut the connection, but you can see that in this scenario white still gets something, you see. So no matter what, even if you do get these points, it's still not enough. So mostly after this, I feel like most of the moves were not that important, because already in a losing position, there's not a lot more you can do. So mostly in this game, I would tell white to learn better overplays in a manner where you know that you can try something and your opponent won't know what to do. That's your advantage in this situation because you are down by points. And also think about which groups are important, right? Not everything needs to be saved. If a group is trying to live in an area where you have more strength, where you have a wall, let that group be, because that group is not gonna make points because you hold a lot of influence in that area. And our goal is just to simplify things and capture stones to make sure that they cannot run out, so that we can not have any RG later on. And for black, just make sure that you focus on the proper groups and making sure that when you are saving stones, they are important stones. If you don't understand what the next best move is, simplify the situation by just keeping yourself connected. Right? We don't want to fight unnecessarily. Yeah.